Hello and welcome to this video on wine glasses. In fact, it is on stemless wine glasses. These are a modern fad that completely ruins the purpose of a wine glass in the first place. Your normal, proper wine glass is a bowl shape followed by a stem and then a base of sorts. Depending on how simple or fancy your glass is, it may or may not be an extremely fine stem or something quite solid. It could be ornate or plain. There are many variations, but they all follow the same basic pattern. By contrast, a stemless wine glass is just a bowl. It can be made from different materials, be more or less ornate, and come in a variety of shapes. The problem with the stemless wine glass is that it does not allow you to take advantages of the normal wine glass design for best enjoyment of wine. Most wine glasses are made with these things in mind: the sense of smell, taste, and aesthetics. We cannot speak to aesthetics, but smell and taste are definitely worth commenting on. Red wine glasses have a wide body, and it narrows down to a somewhat broad opening at the top. This is to allow for oxygen and oxygenation to an extent. That is largely a result of the heady aroma and taste found in red wine. White wine is narrower, and this is to allow for the concentration of aromas and minimal oxidation. Part of all that process is caused by how you hold the wine glass. The body heat from your hand is imparted to the wine very slowly by holding the stem. This minimizes the effect of your body warming up the wine and altering the volatile aromatic compounds that create the intended aroma and taste. For red wine, this is less of a problem. It is often served at room temperature. White wine is nearly always chilled and you are warming it slowly. That means you either need to drink it quickly or have smaller quantities of wine. You might immediately see why stemless wine glasses are a problem. The lack of a stem means you always hold the bowl of the wine glass. This increases the movement of body heat to the wine. There is no way to effectively avoid this scenario. This is the first way stemless wine glasses are an abomination. They completely defeat the purpose of a wine glass. This makes your wine smell and taste worse. While it is true that your average wine bought at a liquor store may not be drastically affected by this, if you go out of your way to find something particularly tasty, you will be reducing that tastiness by a significant margin by using a stemless wine glass. Consider that sparkling wines should be at around 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. White wines and rosé should be between 6 and 13. Headier white wines should be as much as 13 degrees but as low as 7. Red wines at the low end should be about 11, and rich red wines should be about 20 degrees Celsius. Your body is about 33 degrees Celsius. This means that even at the high end of that range, you are 16 degrees hotter than what wine should be served at and consumed at. So far we've only spoken specifically about the aromas, but there's another consideration, and that is flavor. Wine glasses and the flavor that is imparted from the wine in them will be affected by heat to a degree. That is, warmer wine will produce flavors that tend to be less heady and strong, and they will come off first. Then you'll find that the wine, as you continue to drink it, has a higher concentration of heavier, sometimes less desirable flavors. Most wine is made with a balanced palate in mind. That is, a distribution of flavors where everything should be the same throughout. By heating it with your body heat, you are negatively affecting that balance. Another consideration with stemless wine glasses isn't the effect you have on it directly, but rather the nature of most of the designs. Most wine glasses are made with a standard serving in mind. This will admittedly vary somewhat. For example, although a Bordeaux glass is intended to hold somewhere around 850 milliliters, you only put 150 milliliters of red wine into it. This is, again, for the purposes of oxidation. Many of the stemless wine glasses are made in such a way that it's much harder to accurately get those numbers right. This means that you wind up putting more wine into them and getting much larger than a standard serve. This means you drink significantly more when drinking from stemless wine glasses. Another consideration is that although they are much larger glasses, they do have other issues, and that relates to the white wine. That increase in volume, and if you put more white wine in there than a standard serve, means that you get more of it being reacted with that oxygen, which is a thing you do not want with white wine. It's why it's served chilled. Another thing that could play against using stemless wine glasses, and this will depend on how you choose to consume, is whether or not you swirl or stir your wine before drinking it. This is generally not something done when consuming wine socially, but instead either, say, at a winery itself, where you have access to a cellar door, or wine tastings. The lack of a stem makes it harder to swirl the contents and understand the aroma that comes out of it. Further to that, you may also find that it does not oxygenate the same way. This may prevent you from getting the full range of flavors that are otherwise available. As can be seen, the downsides of stemless wine glasses are many. They do largely relate to the taste and aroma, and possibly the appearance of your wine. This is, at least according to the marketing, made up by the convenience of these glasses. That is, they stack and store more easily. You don't need to have any real difficulty or concerns about the stem snapping. There's also a lack of a need to be familiar with the etiquette when using them. To all these points, we humbly disagree. So long as you are, at least, able to hold the wine glass, most people aren't going to take any particular issue with how you drink from them. The convenience argument is only relevant if you need to store a large number of these. The chances of the stem breaking, again when handled correctly, aren't that much. This is why stemless wine glasses should really only be considered by commercial businesses that serve wine regularly and don't really care whether or not they're serving out something that will ultimately taste like swill. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please post your comments, questions, or suggestions below.